Hello and welcome to True Crime Diaries. I'm Emre, and before we dive into today's story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our future stories. Today's story is the chilling case of Ted Bundy, one of America's most infamous serial killers. A tale of charm, deception, brutality, and a relentless pursuit of justice. Buckle up as we embark on this haunting journey through a timeline filled with manipulative charisma and chilling horrors. Our chilling tale begins on a cold January night in 1974, nestled within the bustling expanse of Seattle, Washington. Ted Bundy, then a 27-year-old law student at the prestigious University of Washington, was juggling his demanding studies with what appeared to be a promising future. Outwardly charming and intelligent, Bundy's charming smile and articulate demeanor allowed him to blend seamlessly into society. Yet, beneath this composed exterior lay something much more sinister, a growing darkness that was about to unleash havoc and heartbreak. On the night of January 4th, Ted gave in to the malignant impulses that had been festering inside him. 18-year-old Karen Sparks, a promising college student full of life and opportunities, became the unfortunate target of Bundy's first known attack. While asleep in her basement apartment, Sparks was savagely assaulted, enduring devastating injuries that plunged her into a 10-day coma. The attack on Karen marked the beginning of what would become an insidious pattern, an inexplicable vanishing of young women, each disappearance more mysterious than the last. In the tumultuous months that followed, a growing unease gripped the city. As parod, several young women disappeared without a trace, each woman last seen near a college campus. These campuses, once considered sanctuaries of learning and growth, quickly became grounds of fear and paranoia. The unsettling commonalities in these disappearances sent shockwaves through Seattle and beyond. As rumors spiraled out of control, a chilling nickname began circulating among students and parents alike: the campus killer. Local newspapers seized the harrowing details, propelling widespread panic as each new report solidified the grisly reality of the situation. Speculation ran rampant, leading law enforcement on a frantic scramble for leads, any hint of who might be behind these heinous crimes eluding them at every turn. Ted, with his impeccable persona, was the last person anyone would suspect. Yet, his double life was all too real, switching from the guise of a dutiful student to a monstrous predator, preying upon innocents. What was it about Ted Bundy that drove him to commit such ghastly acts? Was there a clue hidden in his past, some missed red flag that could have warned of the horror that was to come? This dark metamorphosis from an ambitious law student to a name that would be etched in infamy leaves us wondering whether anyone could have predicted this spiraling descent into darkness. The early months of 1974 set the stage for a spree of unimaginable terror, the breadth of Bundy's madness only just beginning to reveal itself. As his web of deceit began to unravel, those close to him remained unaware of the insidious evil lurking beneath his charming veneer. These early crimes were but a whisper of the storm that was brewing, a prelude to the terror that would soon capture the nation's attention. The city of Seattle waited anxiously, teetering on the brink of the unknown, fearing what ominous shadows the next day might bring. The narrative was far from over, and the world was about to witness one of the most chilling crime tales unfold. The sweltering summer day of July 14th, 1974, etched itself into infamy at Lake Sammamish State Park. Families sprawled on picnic blankets, children shrieked with laughter as they dashed through the water, unaware of the sinister forces at play that would forever alter perceptions of safety. It was amidst this vibrant, careless scene that Ted Bundy would mount his audacious escalation. Emerging from the fringes of the crowd, he honed in on two unwitting targets: Janice Ott and Denise Nasland, whose fates would soon intertwine ominously with his own malevolent intentions. Under the guise of a man with a broken arm, Bundy approached Janice first, his boy next door looks masking the predator within. He appealed for help, crafting a scenario that made it almost impossible for the compassionate to refuse. This manipulative tactic, perfected over years, was a masterstroke of psychological prowess, disarming individuals with kindness before leading them into the maw of despair. As afternoon bled into evening, Denise became Bundy's second target, approached with the same injured arm ruse that had deceived Janice mere hours earlier. His ability to maneuver within the densely populated park without raising alarms showcased an eerie confidence, one that suggested a deep underestimation of the danger he posed, not only by those in his immediate vicinity, but by society as a whole. These abductions marked a sickening escalation in Bundy's modus operandi. Up until then, many of his attacks had unfurled under the cover of darkness. The daytime boldness exhibited at Lake Sammamish was a shocking departure, a declaration of sorts that Bundy was becoming more brash, his need for control and dominance spiraling untethered. As eerie reports of the disappearances circulated among the public and police alike, they painted a disturbing picture of a cunning predator, comfortable in the shadows of society's blind spots. Bundy had a knack for choosing hunting grounds, often secluded, wooded areas near lakes, isolated just enough to avoid detection, yet close enough to civilization to intercept the trusting and unsuspecting. By the end of 1974, the realization of the chilling pattern began to dawn on law enforcement, but Bundy was already on the move. He transferred his malevolent focus to Utah, where his downward spiral was reaching a harrowing velocity. Donning the cloak of normalcy, he paradoxically blended charm with malevolence so seamlessly that it left investigators grappling with an elusive enemy who slipped through the cracks time and again. This brazen confidence begged the question: why did Bundy continue to believe he was invincible? Was his elusiveness a result of cunning calculation, or was it fueled by an insatiable need for the adrenaline that came with taunting fate? Perhaps a dark coalescence of both. This unfaltering audacity would continue to puzzle authorities and enthrall a public desperate for answers. As attention began to pivot towards this unrelenting shadow, the scope of Bundy's terror was slowly coming into focus, but not yet within grasp. Ted Bundy's notorious reign of terror finally began to unravel in August 1975, marking a pivotal moment in the chilling saga of one of America's most infamous criminals. His arrest in Granger, Utah, for a seemingly minor traffic violation, failure to stop for a police officer, set off a chain of events that would expose the monstrous secrets hidden behind his charming visage. This arrest was not merely the end of his freedom, it was the beginning of a journey through a judicial system that would struggle to grasp the extent of his heinous acts. As law enforcement officers delved deeper into Bundy's past, it became apparent that they had caught a wolf in sheep's clothing. What followed was a series of trials and legal proceedings that sought to unveil the depth of his depravity and secure justice for his countless victims. However, Bundy was not one to submit easily, and his subsequent actions would only add to his dark legend. In a bewildering twist that would haunt authorities, Bundy managed to escape custody not once, but twice, in 1977. The first escape took place in June from the Pitkin County Courthouse in Colorado, where he had been allowed into a law library to work on his own defense. It was here, amidst law books and under the subtle guise of legal research, that he made his daring escape. Seizing a fleeting opportunity, Bundy leapt from a second-story window, disappearing into the Colorado wilderness and leaving the police in a state of disarray. Yet, despite an intense manhunt, Bundy remained elusive, leveraging his intelligence and resourcefulness to evade capture. His brief period of freedom did not last long, and he was soon back in custody. However, Bundy's insatiable desire for freedom was far from quelled. In December of the same year, Bundy achieved what seemed impossible. He escaped again, this time from the Garfield County Jail. Crafting a meticulous plan, he succeeded in soaring through a hole in the ceiling of his cell, climbing into the building's crawl space, and eventually wriggling his way to freedom once more. Each escape raised profound questions and frustrations. How was a man so dangerous able to outsmart law enforcement repeatedly? Were there perhaps others, individuals both unaware and complicit, who unknowingly became part of his escape acts? Or was it his own undeniable cunning and charisma that allowed him to slip through the fingers of justice with alarming ease? These unanswered questions gripped the nation, leaving people in fear and fascination. The spectre of Ted Bundy loomed larger than life, as his ability to blend in with society fueled public panic and intrigue. Would these brushes with law enforcement finally end the nightmare? Or was the horror only just beginning? As the story of Ted Bundy unfolded, it became a chilling reminder of the thin line between innocence and evil, and how the veneer of charm can betray the darkest of intentions. In early 1978, the ominous shadow of Ted Bundy once again loomed over the horizon, this time in the normally sunny and serene state of Florida. And to Wenside. What transpired over the next few weeks would etch horror into the hearts of residents and challenged the belief in safety and order in society. Escaping from a Colorado jail via audacious methods, Bundy ventured southeast, selecting the vibrant college town of Tallahassee as his next sinister playground. With his uncanny ability to blend into environments unnoticed, Bundy partied, stole, and lived among the unsuspecting, all while crafting a horrific plan. On the night of January 15, 1978, inside the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University, true terror struck. Armed with a piece of wood, Bundy stealthily entered the building through an unlocked door. What followed was a savage assault that left an indelible mark on the annals of crime. Margaret Bowman and Lisa Levy, two vibrant young women with promising futures, were mercilessly bludgeoned to death while their roommates narrowly escaped the same fate, carrying the physical and psychological scars of the attack. Despite the brutality, Bundy's bloodlust remained unsatiated, his compulsion to kill incessantly driving him. Bundy struck again in a chilling act of escalating violence. This time, his victim was the innocent 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. The details of her tragic abduction and murder fill even the most stoic hearts with sorrow. Bundy's capacity to hide in plain sight while committing such heinous acts begs a necessary reflection. How did he maneuver and escape, cross state lines, and keep evading capture for so long? As Bundy continued to weave his trail of terror, law enforcement worked tirelessly in the background, striving to break this cycle of horror. A break came with forensic advancements and relentless dedication. They finally connected Bundy's vehicle with crucial evidence. His fingerprints, those silent witnesses to countless crimes, were identified on a stolen vehicle linked to the chaos. This key piece of evidence marked a turning point. On February 15, 1978, law enforcement apprehended Bundy, bringing an end to his terrifying saga. Bundy's final capture exposed the powerful duality he embodied, a master manipulator with an unnerving ability to project normalcy while hiding a monstrous nature. How did he maintain this facade? What drove his escalation from perpetrator to predator? These are questions that linger as we unravel his story, illuminating the frightening intersection where charm becomes a weapon in the hands of a killer. Ted Bundy's trial stands as a landmark in the annals of legal and media history, a spectacle that merged true crime and televised drama in unprecedented fashion. It was 1979, and for the first time, a courtroom became a national stage where millions of Americans sat in their living rooms, transfixed by the proceedings. They watched as Ted Bundy, an articulate and seemingly charismatic law student, took on the dual role of defendant and legal representative, a move that defied conventional wisdom and theatrical norms. Bundy, already infamous for his heinous crimes, was charged with the brutal Chi Omega murders at Florida State University. The evidence was compelling, yet Bundy's decision to defend himself added layers of complexity to the trial. In what many perceived as arrogance, he cross-examined witnesses with a chilling detachment, at times engaging in combative exchanges that underscored his inability to fully comprehend the gravity of his actions. He charmed parts of the courtroom, but this charm was now a thin veneer over his true nature, leaving viewers unnerved. Despite his legal acumen, the atmosphere of the courtroom was charged with tension, the air heavy with anticipation of justice, versus the fear of another Bundy escape from accountability. As the trial progressed, Bundy's antics became fodder for public discussion. Was his self-representation a sign of cunning strategy, or a delusional belief in his own invincibility? He juggled legal nuances and psychological mind games, a spectacle at once fascinating and grotesque. The trial's gavel came down with firm finality when the jury, steeled against his charm, returned with a guilty verdict. Sentenced to death for the Chi Omega murders, Bundy entered the chaotic world of appellate law, his case sluggishly weaving through layers of legal red tape, capturing headlines with each deferment, each appeal. The drama extended far beyond the courtroom, as Bundy endeavored to exploit every possible avenue to delay his execution. Years ticked by, each adding a new chapter to Bundy's legal saga. Forensic psychologists and criminal analysts delved into his psyche, pondering the origins of such evil. Was he a product of his environment, or was there something inherently malevolent within him from birth? On January 24, 1989, the end came swiftly. Ted Bundy was executed at Florida State Prison, closing a chapter that had gripped, horrified, and educated a nation on the complexities of human malice. In the post-execution reflections, society grappled with questions left unanswered. What drove Bundy to become one of the most notorious serial killers of the century? Could societal interventions have altered his path, or are some fates sealed by an unchangeable inner darkness? The trial and execution of Ted Bundy become not just a quest for justice, but a chilling reminder and a societal pondering on the nature of evil itself. Though justice was served, the tangled psychological web of Ted Bundy's crimes continues to haunt us, urging a deeper understanding of the forces that carve such havoc on humanity. As we close the chapter on Ted Bundy's terrifying legacy, we reflect on the grave impact his actions had on countless lives and the true face of his psychological complexity. Thank you for joining me on this journey through one of America's most chilling cases. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more true crime stories. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.